Do you want to keep your motorbike off the kickstand while you work on it, but you don't have enough room for a full-size motorcycle workbench? Well, I'm going to show you how to easily build a wheel chock that's sturdy, compact, and it's perfect for keeping your bike upright, whether you're doing mods, maintenance, or you're just trying to keep things nice and tidy. I'll also link a DIY video on how you can build a full-size motorcycle workbench, but let's get into it. This is the Whiskey Throttle Club. Now, before we jump into it, I'm going to run you through my little diagram here. For this, you're going to need some SHS, some angle, and some flat plate. Now, the only thing I've got measured out so far is these bits of angle, and they're 700mm long, but make sure you stick around to the end and have a look at the final product. Now here I've got a bit of flat plate with some plate on the sides, and basically this is going to be where the front wheel is going to sit. So the footprint of the wheel will sit roughly there, and these red dots are all holes. So this will be able to slide up and down within those bits of angle, and I'll be able to put a pin in each angle so I can move it, and then that's secure. And so up here I've got my SHS. I've got two different sizes. For the main one, I've got 40 by 40, and the smaller one, which I'm going to have slide in and out of the 40 by 40, is 30 by 30. Now it's going to have a series of holes in it, so I can extend these arms out and make it longer, and then to compact it all back up, it's going to be able to slide back in to bump up on these eyelets, which I've got at either end. Now this section here is going to be where essentially the front of the wheel is going to sit. So the front of the wheel will sit in there, and the bottom of the wheel will sit there. So you'll be able to basically tie it down to these 2 points here as well. I'm going to make the landing for the front wheel roughly 210mm wide. I'll cut it down to 205. Alright, so now I've got the base plate width. I'm just going to cut the length down. I'm basically going to cut it down to the length of this, because I'm going to drill a couple of holes in the side so I can put a bolt through, and this whole plate can slide up and down along the bits of angle. I've got this offcut, which is 200, so essentially it's going to be a 25 by 200 square. Basically I want everything to be able to be bolted, and then I can move everything and adjust everything on the fly. So as long as I make that square, that should keep everything else fairly square. Front wheel will sit essentially right here, and then on the upright, I'll make a little jig so the front wheel can sit in a sort of a open C kind of shape. Alright, so now I've got that done, I'm gonna mark out some holes. So if I go 50, and then I'll put another hole at 150, and same with the other side. So I'll do this, and so I know that's where the top of the angle is, and then I'll divide that and then put the hole smack bang in the center, say 44. So I'll put the holes 22mm up. And now I've got my pilot hole drilled. I'm going to move up, so I'll drill all these out at 14 as well. So now I've got the 14mm holes drilled, I can start trying to tack this together. What we'll do is we'll throw these on and make sure we get everything square, and we'll tack it up. 203-ish, 202-ish, and that makes it 283 by 282. Alright, now I'll just throw a couple of tacks on this. Now I'm not going to fully weld it out until I've sort of got everything made and put in place, but what I'll do is I'll put a bit of steel across here and tack that to the top, because I'm only going to weld the inside. So when I weld the inside, if I've got that over the top, hopefully these two side pieces aren't going to pull in too badly. All right, so now that we've got that tacked up, that's basically going to slide up and down along these two bits of angle. Now I've got to work out how long I want this end here. So essentially what I'm going to do with this small bit of RHS is make it so it slides inside here. Probably want about 400 sticking out either side. So that gives us an overall of 510. So 510 divided by 2 is 255. 255. And so essentially this small bit of RHS, I might go 300 a piece. So I realized earlier in this video, I actually called this RHS, which is round hollow section, and it's SHS, which is square hollow section. Now, anyone who's had a kid and has been through the 4-month sleep regression understands what the sleep deprivation's like, and it bloody lingers around for a while, so I apologize for that. I'll have this bracket sit like that, punch a hole in it, because I've already got one hole in this bit of angle. So that's 65, and that's about 32.5, so that's almost smack bang in the middle. 32 by 25. So I'll punch those holes, and essentially put a bolt through there, and that'll give that enough room to be able to twist off of that support there. And then for the wheel landing, I've got these 3 bits of plate here. Might make them all 200s. So I want to keep this thing as small and as light as possible. 200, 200, and 200. So for the wheel landing, essentially what I'm going to be doing is just cutting these ones down, and I'll weld them something a bit like that. As long as the overall distance, I can make that 200 as well. So when these legs fold up, it'll fit inside. So 205, which gives me absolutely plenty to work with. Now I've got all this done, pretty much I've just got to start cutting, punching holes, and then I'll obviously punch holes in this angle as well, the same distance as what I've got here. So now I've got everything cut, I'm gonna have to start drilling a couple of holes. So with that SHS in there, I'm gonna drill a hole in the top up here for a tie down point. And essentially my tie down point will sit a little bit in, and so that'll be able to shut up to about that far. And I'll also put a couple of holes through both, so I can put pins straight through here, and I can extend the arms out and bring them back in. So I'll mark all these, and then I'll mark the angle up as well for holes, and just start drilling all the holes out. So with my 40 by 40, I'm just going to do a single hole, 20 in, 20 up. With my smaller bits of SHS, I'm going 15 and 15 because it's only 30. And then on the sides here, I might do a hole, because I've got 300. I'm just going to do a hole every 50, I guess. And then with these bits of angle, I've got to do a hole as well, which is every 100. There we go, so I've got all the holes marked out. I've got 20 plus holes to drill. So I'll center pop them all and I'll start drilling them out. I'll start with a pilot hole and then I'll just work my way up. Alright, so I'm basically going to measure from inside to outside here to get the same measurement either side. So we've got 140 and 145, so we'll even that up. 142, so we've got 830, 834. So that shouldn't be too bad. So I can now tack these in place. Now I'll mark out the center, and because I know it's 40 by 40, I'm just going to make a line 20 either side. And this can sit right on those lines. Now I'm going to check to make sure everything's level. All right, now that's all level. I can tack this in place. So what I'm going to do is just use these magnets and get the angles roughly the same and measure it to the edge. So I've got 40 there, not 40. And this magnet needs to come in a bit. Now 40. All right, so I've got them both at 40, so technically that's the same angle. Now I've got 209 mil, so I need to make that about at least 200. So I'll pull this one in, touch, 45, from outside to outside, 201, perfect. So now I can tack this one up as well. Now, because I put the heat on the inside, I'm just going to double check that it hasn't pulled in too much, because that heat will suck it in a bit, and it sucked it in about 2 mil, so that's fine. So essentially, this is going to sit in here, and the front of your wheel will hit smack bang up there. Now, I know from my previous wheel chock that I made that my wheel centers at about 350, so I'm literally just going to mark this one on and weld it up at 350. So that's roughly the center line of where this plate needs to be. What I'm going to do is just make a mark here at 100. So that's my center as well. All right, so that's roughly where I want it. Now I've got about 18 mil. So I'll say about 20 mil there, 22, about 22 there, 22, 22, and 22. So now I know that one's centered. What I'll do is chuck a clamp top and bottom. And now to make sure that this is level-ish, I'll put my magnetic level on it. And that's actually not too bad at all. So now I've got that sitting pretty square. I can now throw a couple of tacks on this one as well. Now, because I'm happy where this is at, what I'm going to do is weld it out. So I'm not going to fully weld out the insides in here. I'm just going to do a couple of stitches. I'll put this up here so that they don't suck in when I do that. Then I'll flip it, do the outside, and then I can just knock that off and clean up those tacks. All right, now before we jump into the final parts, I just want to say a quick thank you. If you've made it this far through the video, I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. And if you've enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've welded the inside of the front wheel plate out as well. I braced it, welded it all out. Now I've cleaned everything up, taken all the sharp edges off, and I've also put a radius on the bottom of this front wheel plate so it fits tighter into the radius of this angle here. Now the only thing that's left to do is give it a coat of paint, and then I'll show you the final product. So let's do it. If I've skipped a measurement by accident or I've gone over something and it's not very clear, just let me know in the comments and I'm more than happy to help you out. All right, and now we can start throwing it all together. And here's the final result. All right, and the wheel chock's all done. I'll throw in a little clip here of folding it up and packing it away, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is there something you guys would have done differently, or would you have just spent the money and brought your own online?
Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.